And remember, this is really important. Gary Southgate and various England players have now come forward to say the reason why we take the knee is to express our solidarity with opposition to racism. So I appreciate for a while there was an invitation there to you to either pretend or possibly believe that there was some sort of endorsement of Marxism involved, because I think some of the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement or their published manifestos have some fairly extreme political positions on them. But the idea that they should be allowed to hijack the phrase, the three words, Black Lives Matter, is clearly ridiculous. Unless you really are facing the wrong way when you got out of bed in the morning. So the players and the manager have now made it categorically clear why they kneel before the game. They could not make it clearer. There is no longer any excuse for not understanding why they do it. They do not do it. And here's a big shock for you. You might want to sit down for this. The highest paid 20-somethings on the planet are not secret Marxists quietly waiting for epic redistribution of wealth and the taking over of the means of production by the working classes. I know this is going to come as a massive shock to you, but they are not secret Marxists who accidentally blew their cover by taking the knee before football games. Okay, so I understand why that was such a seductive invitation, why so many people were keen to take it up. Again, the answer to that question might be linked to the foreign aid / Harry and Meghan / Brexit question as well, but we're not going there yet. We're just staying here. They've told you why they're doing it. We've got a fair chance of doing quite well in this tournament. It's obviously a little bit harder if your own fans aren't behind you. And the idea of turning up at a game, right, sitting in the crowd, your lot are awaiting kickoff. They haven't kicked a ball in anger or indeed in any other emotion. They are there. Some of those lads, particularly yesterday when it was sort of a bit more of a B team, it is a moment of epic excitement, a moment of almost unbelievable joy. It is the culmination for many of these lads of an entire life dedicated to their sport. I'm not going to apologise for getting a bit dewy-eyed and romantic about that. That's why we all love sport so much, because it moves us out of the quotidian. It transcends our daily grind and delivers something a little bit more romantic, a little bit more passionate. And there it is. You've decided to boo them. Why? Oh, because I believe that they're actually showing support for a... No, they've told you that they're not. So you can't tell somebody else why they are kneeling. If you walk into a room and I'm kneeling, you can't tell me why I'm kneeling. You can ask me why I'm kneeling and I will then tell you. And you can make a judgment based upon what I've told you about whether or not you agree with me kneeling, you approve of me kneeling, or you don't approve of me kneeling. It's a bit of an odd thing to get excited about, but you certainly can't walk into a room and say, oh, look, James is kneeling. That's because he believes the moon is made of cheese. You can say, James, why are you kneeling? And I will say, if I was an England football player, well, it's evolved from the actions of Colin Kaepernick, the American football player. It's a way of showing solidarity with the belief that black lives need to matter at least as much or as much as all other lives on this planet. And there are institutional examples and particularly policing examples that prove that they don't. Most obviously in America with the killing of black men by police officers, but in this country everything from Windrush backwards adds to the idea that you do still sadly get treated differently according to your skin colour. So here are people of every hue, every creed and colour taking a knee to demonstrate their solidarity with the idea that racism is really, really bad. Now, 10 minutes of the usual suspects in the right-wing media telling you it's got nothing to do with that. It's all about support for defunding the police and the collectivisation of football. That's so obviously ridiculous that the point at which I lose a little bit of sympathy for you, if you're still clinging to that idea, arrives fairly quickly. What is it that you are so frightened of that you're now going to pretend to believe that these footballers in their Lamborghinis and their multi-million-pound apartments are actually Marxists dedicated to the dismantling of the British police force? I mean, it's funny, yeah? Until you see it, of course, in 6-inch high letters on the pages of the national newspapers. Why are they kneeling? Oh, they're Marxists who want to defund the police. Really? Harry Kane is a Marxist? What? Really? What dialectical material is that? What? Marcus Rashford wants to defund the police? Are you sure? I mean, I know he cares about children who haven't got enough grub in their bellies or books in their bedrooms, but he actually wants to defund the... You don't really believe... No, of course I don't believe it, but if I tell you why I really boo, then I wouldn't be able to pretend that I'm not... Oh, my God, we nearly did it without reaching for the R word. Go on, tell me why. Now that they have made it absolutely categorically crystal clear why they are kneeling, why Gareth Southgate has come out and explained until he's blue in the face why they take the knee, why are people still booing? 03456060973 is the number that you need. Because I think I know, but you know me, I'm cursed with a desire to see the best in everybody. And on mornings like this, I want to be wrong. Why are they still booing? If the players have made it clear why they're doing it, just remember, if you're still struggling, and I see how much effort is put into confusing the issue or misleading you or grooming you. So here's the deal. If I walk into a room, right, and you are kneeling down, I don't get to tell you why you're kneeling. You tell me why you're kneeling. You ask one of these football players why they're kneeling. If they turn around to you and say, well, it's because I want to defund the police and see the collectivisation of football, James, then you can go, oh, well, I'm sorry, I might boo you because I quite like the police and I'm not really in favour of a Marxist redistribution of wealth. So if Marcus Rashford turns around to you or Jack Grealish turns around to you or gives an interview in which they express their support for the dismantling of the police service and the redistribution of wealth, then I guess there's a case for you to boo. But if you say, hey, why are you kneeling, lads? And they say, oh, it's an expression of our opposition to racism. Now you know why they're doing it. How come you're still booing?